Everybody, happy Friday! Yes, we finally made it to Friday. I've just been itching to do videos all week, but with school and getting home late and all that stuff and basketball, I just didn't have time. But today is not just any Friday, it is Fertilizing Friday, and I've already had a few people at work asking me about how do I do it and what do I use and when do I do it. So this is the video for you. This is the fertilizer that I use. This is called Neptune's Harvest Fish and Seaweed Fertilizer, and yes, it is organic. This is the stuff that I talked about in my previous video where you can literally just stick it to your hose with a jug under it and just spray everything, all the leaves, all the plants, all of that, and it won't hurt a thing. And then your dog can go right out and your cats can go right out and kids can go right out. It's not going to hurt anything. The only thing that I do not like about this fertilizer is that it does have a bit of a stench. It's a little smelly. It's fish and seaweed. So if you kind of have a weak stomach with strong smelling, it doesn't linger. Once the plants absorb it up, you can't smell it anymore. But if you can't handle that, handling things that smell strong or whatever, this is probably not a good fertilizer for you because it does stink. So another thing that I want to point out about this fertilizer is I just want you to take a quick peek at, the literature that is on the bottle. Normally with synthetic fertilizers, there's so much fine print and warnings and cautions and all of these weird directions and these crazy ingredients that you have no idea what they are. And this is just this whole page right here is basically, look, I'm trying to do this. There's directions for houseplants, outdoor plants, compost enhancer, seed germination, caution, keep out of reach of children, do not take internally. That's the only caution. And obviously you're going to keep it out of reach of children. If they drank it, they'd smell it and they would never drink it. But the worst thing that's going to happen is going to get all over the place. It smells really bad, And then there's really, the guaranteed analysis, and there's only a couple of ingredients. It talks about where it's derived from. So I really like this fertilizer. So right down here, I'm going to show you. Right here on my nails, it says seed germination. Soak in solution of 1 teaspoon per cup of water. Easy enough. I don't have a ton of seedlings yet. I've got my salvia. I've got my snapdragons, right? So I'm going to only do enough solution for about 2 cups of water, okay? So 2 cups of water, 2 teaspoons of the solution, and I'm going to do it with a plastic spoon. And just mix it up. Another good idea is also make sure that you mix this up really well before you use it. Don't go crazy mixing up and down because it does kind of seep out of the top, as you can see, and then you get it on your hands. And like I said, it stinks. So give it a good and a gentle just be careful, and you'll be good to go. It is very, very dark brown in color. It's fish and seaweed. It's pretty gross. All right, so I've already done that. I had a plastic spoon. I filled it up 2 times, put it into this. You can see the brown water. There it is. Put it into this lovely McDonald's cup that I usually save these for all kinds of things. I can plant flowers and all kinds of things in these. So, and it's super simple. I've got my snapdragons. I don't know if you guys can see the little babies. There's just little teeny tiny little babies in there. But I planted those a week ago today. I was not expecting any germination until like Sunday or Monday. But I check them every day, and then I've got little sprouts in there. Now, you saw how small those seeds were, so these are going to be slow growing, which again is another reason why I plant them early. And snapdragons are a cold weather flower. They actually prefer cold, so I can come, May, beginning of May or so, as soon as the ground is workable, like not frozen anymore, I can plant these in the ground. They can tolerate frost and snow. Nice to know, huh? Yeah. So I am going to give them, that's it. They will soak that up. I will watch and see how fast they're soaking that up. If they soak it up like really fast in like just 2 minutes, I'll pour a little bit more in there. But it looks like those are going to be good. And then all I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to lift up my tray of salvia that I have been battling the algae with. Oh dear, I've run out of room. Hold on, I've got too much of my supplies on my island. Hang on. Okay, so I've been battling my algae, and I've done some research because gardening requires research, and I've learned that the algae is bad for the germination, but if you're well past the germination and you're getting algae after that, well, as long as your plants are still thriving, the algae is really not going to do anything. The algae kills the seed trying to germinate, I guess. It kind of smothers it. But, so I'm just letting it go. And my seedlings are much bigger. They're doing fine. So, and then this side, I do have a little bit of algae too. It's not nearly as bad as what I was dealing with over there. And I scraped a lot of that off. But that's because of the lights and the water. But I have 100% germination on this side, so I'm not even gonna sweat it. I love it. So I'm gonna pour this, here we go, into the bottom of my tray here. Don't splash. If you splash it, it's gonna get all over your kitchen. All right, and now I'm looking and I'm like, well, you know what? I want even more. I want more. So, somebody must be pulling in my driveway because my dog's barking. And it's Daddy. Will you stop? It's Daddy. Okay, so let me pour a little bit more. Why do dogs always bark when somebody pulls in the driveway? I mean, I've had him for how long? He still doesn't recognize our vehicles. It's quite ridiculous. Okay, I just put in another little teaspoon. Whew, stinky. It's gross. It's the worst smell. And my husband used to work on lobster boats and fishing boats, and he used to string bait and do all that gross stuff. And this is just, it brings me back to those days when my husband used to be on the lobster boats. Okay, so it's Daddy. Will you stop? All right, that's good. That is a good amount of water on the bottom, so that way when I put this back in, they will be able to soak that up. Now, I'm not just gonna set it and forget it, okay? I'm gonna watch it. I'm going to give it a few minutes to drink, and then I'm going to check it and see how much it's drank. If it drank it all, then I might pour some regular plain water in there. What I want to see happen is that over about a half an hour of time, there's still water on the bottom. I know that they've had enough to drink in a half an hour, and I'll pour off the rest because we don't want them sitting in the water. So everything has been fertilized now. So the other trick I wanted to talk to you about today, you might be wondering why I have my little food processor out. My husband just got home, so that's why all of a sudden the background noise is happening and doors are opening and shutting, but that's okay. My eggshell dust. I just call it eggshell dust. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that. I already talked to you about how in my first video we've been saving our eggshells. And so what I did, and I haven't necessarily been told that you have to do this, but I talked to people who know a thing or two about this, and they say that you should cook them off a little bit. So you can microwave them, or you can put them in your toaster oven, which is what I did here. And all I'm going to do, and I had it really low and for like 5 minutes, because, you know, salmonella. You don't want to handle things that could possibly have salmonella on them. You know, keep your hands clean. And so I'm just going to put them into my food processor, like so. And you can actually crush them in there. Put my lid on. And that's loud. And just keep going. Now this eggshell dust or fertilizer or whatever is really good for tomato plants, I've learned. Tomatoes actually crave calcium. And so when you're going to plant your tomato plants, when you dig the hole, you put a nice little spoonful of this at the bottom of the hole. And voila, you have just fed your tomato plants a good dose of calcium for quite a long time. So, got one more here. Give it a really good. There we go. Ooh, dusty. Okay, and then again, save containers with good lids, okay? Still has the foil on top. And store it and keep it. And before you know it, you will have a full can of extra fine eggshell dust that will provide your plants with the calcium that they need to grow. And you can simply look up online, just Google what vegetable or fruit and vegetable plants need calcium. And this is an easy and free way to do it because everybody buys eggs and you don't have to throw away your shells. I keep my shells in the cartons on my counter, and when they get full, they go into here like so, all cooked. And it only takes a couple minutes. So that is that. Okay, so plants are drinking. Fertilizer is made. I talked to you about this glorious stuff. Oh, one more thing. Don't, and it actually says it on the bottle, do not store diluted fertilizer. So that means if you go and you make up a bunch of it, but you don't end up having to use it, find something to use it on a house plant or a neighbor's plant or something. Don't store it, even for a day, even in the refrigerator. It'll be disgusting the next day. I mean, if you think it smells bad now, wait till you see what it smells like after it's been sitting around in water for a little while. I made that mistake. I made some here. One night I fertilized my plants here and I had some left over and I brought it to school with me to fertilize my strawberry plants that I have growing in my classroom. Big mistake. The whole classroom just stunk. I'm so glad I didn't actually pour it out on the plants. I just needed to open the cap and give it a little woo, a little whir, and cap went right back on. But really, it was bad. Way worse than this. Like, I can't even smell it now, and it's out on my counter, and I can't smell it now. It's not on my counter. It's in the snapdragons and my salvia seeds. So, yeah, don't store that stuff, but I do recommend that you buy it if you are into keeping things healthy and safe. And, you can read all the words on the bottle in like 2 minutes compared to the synthetic kind where you have to worry about all of the poisonous stuff that's in it. So those are my tips and tricks for this Fertilizing Friday and my update on my snapdragons and salvia seeds. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon. Bye!